All right, one of the first lessons we do in art is the art folder, and this is very similar to what we did in 6th grade, at least in the beginning part. But in 7th grade art, the art folder becomes more about trying to make things look three-dimensional and make them look like they're going back in space. And so I've got a step-by-step here on how to do it, and we're going to do a couple of videos that'll kind of walk you through how to do this. First thing, it says, well, the first thing actually is to make the margin, and that's already been done in most cases where the margin's been done. And I've also drawn a space which is going to contain your first name, and a space down here which is going to contain your last name. Then if we look at the instructions right here, it says draw a line from corner to corner to find the center. We're going to use these lines later on, but it's also very helpful when we do put our first and last name in there, because step number 2 says center the first name and print it in all uppercase letters. Your letters should touch the top margin and the bottom line. All right, so you're going to do this, and you can see I've already done that with my first name. If I come down here, then I can say, okay, that's the middle, so I'm going to put my last name right here. And this is a very quick sketch just to basically fit your letters on here and make sure they're all going to fit. And it is trial and error. You may draw it the first time and say, well, obviously I have too much space on the left side or the right side, and so I need to fix that. But don't worry about your letters being perfect yet. Just get them centered to the best you can. All right. Once that's done, looks like I've done pretty good. It's a little bigger over here, but things are also going to change as I go on to the next step. And the next step says make sure your letters, make your letters into block letters. Use a ruler when possible and make your letters the same thickness throughout. So this step, I'm going to start in the center again because as I do this, the letters can get thicker or wider, however you want to say it. And this is an N, so again, I do want to make this as straight and possible as I can. So I started with these 2 lines. I can tell you from experience that's a little too thick, so I'm going to go back and make this one just a little thinner. If you have a smaller ruler at this point, sometimes it's easier to use a little bit smaller than these big 18 inches. All right, so that's about the thickness I'm going to have for all of my letters, this consistency right here, and I'm making this into a block letter. So I want to make the diagonal line, and oops, I better start the right way if I'm going to do this as an N. All right, I'm going to overlap my lines just a little bit here and there. The other thing while I'm drawing that I want you to really try and make sure to do is not to have any points on your letters. Oftentimes we make points when we do our ends, like right here. But when we actually get to our block letters, we want them to be blocky. We want them to be square because we're going to make them three-dimensional. And it is so much easier to make them three-dimensional when they are very square and blocky. So I'll move on to my next end. I'm going to do it exactly the same, trying to keep the same thickness and everything. If it's a little thinner, not a big deal, but if it's noticeably thinner, change it, erase it, fix it. All right, and so you're going to do this with every letter. And I'm going to stop the camera and let you work on that, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like when we have at least the first name in block letters.